Everybody, Brian Good here to lay us on our Storm Talk and Derby Talk updates. A couple things I want to point out. Some minor changes here and there. Don't panic though when you see these changes. This is why we do the blog, is to discuss the data and let you know what is most likely to take place. Now, the monitoring board's back up because we're going to add in tomorrow for potential for hail and maybe some cold air funnels. We'll explain that. And then Derby night, some of the recent changes in the past couple of runs since about sunrise to midday today, the model runs are trying to bring anyway a chance of rain for the weekend here. We'll talk about that in a second. First off today, you can tell where the cumulus clouds have been more prevalent. Temperatures struggling in the lower 50s to our north. Meanwhile, the sun, where it's able to shine, has been getting many spots into the 60s. Not a bad day outside, really. It's relatively pleasant. But there's those cumulus clouds. So far, not generating a shower yet, although now that I say that, I can see them now begin to pop over Jefferson County, Indiana, heading into our northern county. So the afternoon showers now beginning to develop to our north, and these will rotate in across Louisville into Lexington for the afternoon. Just a few brief showers, what we're talking about for the next several hours, in fact. All right, so our main culprit in the short term is actually going to be this bad boy right here. You can tell that spin that's moving through. It has a cold front feature with it. That is going to be here by tomorrow late morning. And then the core of that is what we're going to be watching for Wednesday afternoon to bring us the really cold air aloft and maybe some unique weather for the area. Let me show you the in-house Futurecast first. We'll start there. It's showing the afternoon showers. They fade away because they're feeding on the sun. They are out of here. We actually see a cool night tonight in the 40s for many areas. Here's that little cold front part of that low in Canada. It begins to show up around sunrise to our north. It'll pass through here by late morning through midday. We do have a chance to warm up ahead of that. Maybe some lightning and thunder with that if we get that warm ahead of it. It's a potential anyway. But here's where the forecast gets interesting. In the afternoon, once that band moves by, we break back out into some sunshine, at least partly to mostly cloudy sky. Any sun will allow for these cells to rapidly develop in behind that first wave. This will take us into about mid to late afternoon tomorrow. Because we are so cold aloft, the ground in the sun angle is high enough. The ground's able to heat up decently, even with a few breaks in the cloud deck. So that warm air rises. You develop into cumulus clouds. Now, it's not a violent rise in the clouds like you would have in a severe weather scenario, but strong enough of a flow that you can get these clouds to build into the colder layers of the atmosphere where hail would then be possible to develop. And cold air funnels. Cold air funnels are funnel clouds just like you would have in a severe weather scenario with tornadoes, but cold air funnels just kind of hang. They're very skinny, very thin. Sometimes they're actually kind of ropey in the sky. They are relatively weak. They rarely touch down. They have touched down before, but rarely do they ever do it. So there's no warnings issued for them, even if they're detected. There's usually just a statement that comes out saying cold air funnels have been spotted, but no tornado warning will be issued because, again, the chance of them touching the ground is not likely because the setup is not the same. The violent nature of that is much more lessened in this kind of a scenario. But nevertheless, it is a possibility that could happen in some cases. I think the hail is going to be our biggest issue that we'll have to monitor for Wednesday afternoon. Now, yes, Kevin and I will be on the steamboats, so it'll be an interesting day, the way it's looking for Wednesday. Since it's feeding on the sun and that heating aspect, once the sun goes down, the showers fade out as well. Thank goodness, though, we'll hold on to the clouds, and it looks like we will, because as long as we hold on to the clouds, Wednesday night and Thursday, we will prevent ourselves from falling into the 30s. The wind will help as well. Because if we had a clear sky and lighter winds, we would be talking about a frost, not a light freeze scenario. But this is going to be a chilly night, but clouds are going to save us, it looks like. And then as we into parade day, we're on the back side of that low. It's to our east at this point, but we've got a good north flow. Hopefully the winds won't impact the Pegasus Parade balloons too much, but that's a possibility. And there will be some showers around. I do think the showers will enhance mainly east of 65, but 65 is going to be the dividing line. Of course, Louisville is on 65, so it's going to be iffy on the rain chance for parade day. I think it's going to be very similar to last year. If you remember last year, the Pegasus Parade, it was gloomy. We had showers. It was chilly. Once we got into about the first 30 minutes of the parade, the sun started to break through the clouds, and we were able to get some sunshine to get into the area. So, but it was chilly, but at least it was a nice parade. So I think a very similar setup is looking likely for that. Here is the NAM, by the way, on the vorticity. It shows, again, that vort that's dropping down is waiting tomorrow afternoon and evening. That's what's going to help drive that warm air upward as it moves in. Here's the sounding, showing we do have some instability, some CAPE to work with. It's not an overly saturated sounding, so this is not a heavy rain scenario, but enough of a buildup in the CAPE here to get into that colder layer. The freezing levels are quite low for tomorrow afternoon and evening, and that's why the hailstones could be a problem. Now, 1-inch hail will trigger a warning. Hailstones should be generally less than 1 inch in size, so I don't foresee a lot of warnings because of that. But if the potential is there for them to approach 1 inch in size or quarter size in diameter, then a warning would have to be issued. All right, so it's just kind of a heads up. If your weather radio goes off tomorrow, it's likely because the hail is approaching quarter size in that particular storm. But that looks to be very isolated, but something we'll monitor. The amount of sun will really determine that. If the sun's out too much, that could really enhance some of these to get to that level. All right, also looking at the 700 millibar, one of the magic things to look at for cold air funnels is you want the 700 millibar, when you're looking at your data, to be either at or below 0, and it's -5 showing up in Celsius here at the 700 millibar level. So that's another indicator of not only hail, but the potential for these cold air funnels. So there's a chance. I don't want to alarm you guys by saying this. Hope I'm explaining it well, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. Okay, now we head into parade afternoon, the GFS. GFS still holding on to that shower idea. So is the Canadian, by the way. Although when I look at the sounding from the NAM, it is not really, it's a drier profile. Very little in the way of chance of rain, but it is trapping some moisture in the mid layers that we could see, at least a cloud deck, a stratocumulus deck more than likely, that's going to hold tough all the way through parade day afternoon. That's going to affect temperatures. The quicker we can erode that away and get some dry air to mix in, we could see temperatures spike at the last minute into the 60s. And I'm still betting on that idea. I think that is likely to happen. But if that doesn't happen, then we will face only upper 50s to around 60 with a chilly wind. Ouch. Not good there. All right, so let's move on, shall we, as we head into the wind speeds themselves. Right now, the NAM is showing the potential here for a northwest wind at the start of the parade. Sustained level winds at about 16 to 18 miles per hour. Anything over 12 to 13 is raising red flags for the balloon holders for the parade route. The winds will relax from that point on. From 5 o'clock all the way through the evening, the wind speed will drop. So hopefully this model's too aggressive and that drop is already happening when we get to the parade itself. But the start of the parade may be a little windy, but hopefully as we get through time here, we'll be in good shape. We will monitor that. It's more of a now casting day of kind of a thing. All right, now here's a couple of changes I want to point out. GFS. For Oaks Day, looks good still. Temperatures in the 70s. Oaks Night, it's bringing a little shortwave as some moisture advection basically increases over the area Friday night into early Derby Day. The other models so far haven't been aggressive on that. I'll look at the Euro when it comes in. I'm going to keep the forecast dry. I think this is more of an anomaly because, yeah, the dew points do go up, but I don't think they're high enough to really raise eyebrows, this being a big threat by any stretch. And again, it'll be Oaks Night, not daytime stuff, but I'll watch it. But here is a change that started on the models I alluded to at the beginning of the video. There's that front. Now, if you were watching yesterday, that front was forecast to move in on Mother's Day right over us with showers around. Well, the front is speeding up in the past 24 hours and now begins to approach as early as Derby night. With dew points increasing throughout the day and some sunshine, thunderstorms look a little more probable to develop along the front and then move southward toward the Ohio River as we head into Derby evening. Timing is everything, as you all know. At this point, based on the current speed, I think we'll get in Derby fine. I think it's going to be after Derby, after the big race, that we will have to watch out for showers and thunderstorms. If we had added a chance in during the daylight hours, I think it would be limited to Indiana at this point, not really for Louisville and Churchill Downs. We will monitor this because GFS is showing some capes, some instability to work with because dew points are up. So even before we get into that rain chance potential Derby night, it's going to be quite warm, well into the 80s in some areas, and humidity is going to be high. It's going to be a sweaty kind of a day, but some thunderstorms are probable. Even the latest Canadian hinting at some thunderstorms along that front as it drops down. I don't want to make any drastic changes because this is a relatively new change in the data in the past 24 hours. We'll trend it. We don't want to react to it. We want to kind of analyze that and go slow. So don't change your plans or anything like that. I still think Oaks and Derby look good. We just have a couple bumps that we need to monitor, and that's why we are doing these blogs to be transparent with you guys, let you know what we're looking at, what we're monitoring, what we're keeping an eye on, so you guys are in the know. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you at the parade preview. Don G now will be out there starting at 5 o'clock.